Hey, look what we have found. A big sound in a small town. Far away from the bright lights. They're making music every night. Discover what is all around. A big sound. A big sound. In a small town. Big sound, small town. A really big sound. Big sound, small town.
You're listening to Big Sound, Small Town with Sandy Carlton.
Hello, this is Dale Upton, and I'm here with Sandy, and going to do us a little talking and have a good time.
That sounds good to me. That sounds real good, Dale. I tell you, I've had this podcast 5 seasons now. When I made my list out for the people that I wanted to have on, you were one of the first names that I had on my list, and it took me, I'm in my 5th season to get you on, and it's because I didn't have a contact of any type, and the contact actually came through from Ronnie Wisn't.
Rock and Ron.
Rock and Ron. And, I've asked Rock and Ron to do the show, and he's a great guy. He has a good story. He should do it. But, he don't really like to talk.
Well, he came up to my shop. I mess around with old cars and trucks and music,
yeah,
and just having a good time doing that. I'm retired. And he came up to look at some music equipment, him and his wife. And we got to talk, and he said, laughing about some of the things we did together when I played with Legend and played with Crimson.
Right.
And he said, "You sorry rascal, you're the one that took me around and around in a circle one night telling me that it was a shortcut." And he said, about the 3rd trip, I realized we was passing the same place, I'm in my truck just dying laughing.
That's funny.
But anyway, he said, "You need to get with Sandy Carlton." He said, he wants me to, but I just can't talk.
I know, that's what he told me. I'd love to have him do it.
And
he just
I realized you had this show.
So
that kind of surprised me, and I said, "Well, sure, give him my number."
Yeah, and he did. And almost as soon as you did it and he gave it to me, I got in contact with you, because it was like, I started this with people who have had a big impact on music in Cleveland County over the years. And I had my list, and you were one of the ones at the top, and it took me that long to get to you.
Well, that's nice.
And it's not, I just couldn't for some reason, I have contacts with so many people, but I could not make that one happen for some reason. I don't know why that is.
It was meant to be.
I guess. Well, this is a good time, because people will actually hear yours. If I'd have got you at the time I wanted you, you'd have been lost like down at the bottom of 200 of them. They'd have to scroll through to find you, and you probably wouldn't have got as many listens. And now this thing's pretty big, and
that's great.
A lot of people listen. So I guess that is the way it's supposed to work out, So that's really good. Well, let's start. You've been singing around here a long time.
I think the first group I was with I was actually a drummer, and I was 15, 16, was Vic Parker and the Rhythmaires.
I know Vic, Dwayne.
Dwayne is his son, yes, and Mark.
Mark too, yeah.
Yes.
Vic was a fine musician too,
Yes.
That's a good place to start, because that is the start of one of the starts of country music around here, really.
That's right.
We
played in Grover, the rescue squad, and just different places.
Right, yeah.
Just small places, and then I played drums for about 10 years with different bands.
Right.
With the Casters. And,
I remember them too.
Sugar Hill.
Oh yeah, yep.
But anyway, I discovered that when I really got to hear some of the other drummers that was around the Charlotte area,
right,
I said, I'm not getting any better. And I was trying to do a little backup singing.
I was wondering if you were singing then as a drummer.
I was. Ended up, we lost lead vocalist, so
Right.
I ended up being the lead vocalist behind the drums.
Right. But that what you didn't start out as a singer, right?
Well, I started out actually when I was probably 7 years old.
Okay, so you had
Singing
already been.
gospel.
Yeah. Yeah.
My dad was a bass singer
Okay.
in a quartet, so
And your voice is totally different than his.
absolutely.
You know.
But anyway, I decided real quick that I wasn't getting any better playing drums.
Right.
I better let the drummers play the drums,
And then just sing.
and I just started singing.
And that led you to a whole different. Actually, I guess your singing. Yeah, I'm sure. I am sure of this. So your singing took you a lot farther than your drumming.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Believe me, I played with some drummers that just blew my mind.
Oh yeah, there's some good ones out there. Do you remember when you first moved out from behind the drums to lead singing?
I left there. We had a chance we had a band together here called State Line.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of folks here in Cleveland County will remember the name State Line. We
Sure.
were together for years. But we had a chance to put two different area bands to make State Line.
Right.
And that's when we took the drummer from the other band,
And okay,
keyboard player, and
can you remember who all was in State Line?
the very first State Line was myself and Johnny Fisher.
Yep, I remember Johnny.
Johnny's passed.
He has,
on,
yeah.
And Randy Fight
Oh yeah,
was the
Randy.
bass player.
Oh.
Rusty Cockman was the drummer, and Robbie. I cannot even remember his last name because he wasn't with us long.
Right.
The keyboard player, but then Mackie Lennons.
Came in, Mackie did.
He came in and played the keyboards for till we actually split up.
Yeah.
Years later. So yes, and coming out front was just about like being used to playing the drums. And I come out front and I thought, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, I
now?
wondered about that. I wondered because you are busy as a drummer when you're singing, but then don't have that as a crutch anymore. Was that hard to get used to?
It was about like coming out
Naked.
having your pants down.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. You remember the first song? I'm just curious. You remember the first song you did when you stepped out from behind the drums?
I have no idea.
I just, it was just one of them things that I was curious if you remembered or not.
No.
Then that means you did a really good job, and it's not something that, yeah, God, I remember it because, so you must have done okay.
Well, I was just, I guess, as you can tell already, I like to talk.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know anybody like that.
And I said then, I thought, well, if I want to find somebody that can out-sing Dale Upton, I don't have to look far.
Right.
So what I need to do is make the people feel comfortable with Dale Upton.
Right.
And talk to them and make them feel like that we're here on the same level.
Sure.
And I tell you, one person that really influenced me on that some was Tommy Fell.
Oh, Tommy, yeah. I did some shows with Tommy. Tommy's a nice
Super
guy.
nice.
And he knew a lot, particularly for the time, because one time I played in this band, Peeler's Mill, and we did a show with Tommy.
Me too.
And Tommy told me before the show, he said, you might want to get your money before the show's over. He said, I worked with this guy before. He said, I already got my money. Well, we were getting ready to go on because we opened, when he told me that. So I didn't have a chance to tell anybody that. So we go on. Sure enough, we come off, and Tommy does this show, and we're waiting around. Tommy gets through, and it's over. And I said, you know where that guy went? And he said, I told you better get your money. He had gone. He had skipped with the money.
No.
But we had gotten, this is so funny. So we had gotten, it was in Kings Mountain at the Armory. So we went to Hardee's. We just was going through Hardee's, and we looked in the window, and there was the guy who owed us the money, who had the money. So Louis Letford, bless his heart, jumped out, went running in there, slid up beside him, in this booth there, almost broke the glass and knocked him out. And he said, hey, we want our money. And so we all came in there and I probably shouldn't even tell this, but so well, the guy said, well, it's in the van, and Louis said, what's in that briefcase you got right there? And he said, well, let's take a look in there, and there was all the money. So Louis just takes his hand, reaches in there, and gets all the money. We got back in the van, and we left. And then we realized we got way more than what we were supposed to be paid, you know. But yeah, Tommy was a good guy, and he gave us the heads up on that, and I didn't listen.
And you mentioned Peeler's Mill and
Yeah.
Lee Ledford.
Yeah.
I played with Peeler's Mill
Yeah.
at one time, but our paths were
Right.
off time. to
They
play
were.
together.
Yeah, they were. That was a fun. I mean, I had a lot of fun playing with them.
I did too.
Louis kept a good band.
Yeah.
It was fun. So there's still people, you know, although it's now there's less and less people in this town that played in Peeler's Mill.
Yes.
There used to be a bunch. I mean, there's a lot of people come through that band, but now guys like you and me are.
Few and far between.
Yeah, they are. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, they are. And but yeah, that was a good part of Cleveland County music history too.
Yes.
So.
And then I went on. Well, let's see. I don't know. I'll probably leave some of the bands out because of old age.
Right.
But I went on and I played in the house band at Possum Holler.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Possum Holler. Yeah,
I was
that's
there
right.
for about 6 years.
Was that with State Line or was that with?
Well, we played as State Line there a few times, but that's when we were playing at Country City in Charlotte.
Okay.
We played there when Randy Travis
Yeah.
was Randy Trawick.
Yep. I remember.
And we played there on Sunday and Monday nights, the nights that he was off.
Right.
He would still come in and get up and sing with us.
Right.
And we played at Possum Holler 2 or 3 times while we were playing at Country City.
Right.
As State Line.
Sure.
And then when State Line, when we broke up, Johnny and I ended up playing at Country City as a house band when Lib took Randy to Nashville.
Okay. So so you and Johnny went back as part of the house band there then.
For a while, yes.
Right.
And then I ended up in Possum Holler.
I remember.
Changed it to the Holler.
Right. Yeah.
And for those years, and then I went from there to I played with the Spontanes.
Yeah.
Harley Hog and the
Yeah.
Rockers.
Holly Hog and Rockers. Yeah.
That was
And that was kind of a different. Oh yeah, we're switching kind of musics there too. Before I forget it,
I loved it.
you know,
I loved it.
was it hard to make that switch?
Well, even when I played at Country City, Lib would walk to the door. We would go in there and rehearse a lot of times early,
Right.
and she would be standing there at the door going into the dance
Right.
floor and all, and she'd be leaned up against it, and you could see her. We'd go from a George Jones song to KC and the Sunshine
Yeah.
Band,
Yeah.
or anything like that.
Right.
Soul, and she would just kind of shake her head and turn around and walk off. And at the same time, she loved it because State Line, we were packing that place
Right.
on Sunday and Monday.
Monday nights. Yeah.
She loved it.
Oh, of course you did. You know.
And but anyway,
So
always-
that wasn't a hard switch then for you because you'd been singing more than just country.
I'd love to sing the good soul songs and
Right.
stuff anyway.
Yeah.
And that fit me to a good tee, and had a lot of fun with that band.
Yeah.
Traveling and playing, and a lot of good times. Running off and on stage, changing.
Yeah,
into the other outfit.
I thought that was really cool. I thought that was a really cool thing.
And I really hated to see that band when they broke up. But I didn't get to stay with them, but probably a little over a year. And I went to Nashville and done some recording in Nashville. And Bill Stewart is the
Yeah.
one that owned the Spontanes.
Right.
And he said, well, Dale, I'll just, you just do what you need to do, and I'll just get someone to fill in. And when you get through at Nashville, if you need to come back, we want you back.
That's good.
And I thanked him for that.
Right.
That was very gracious.
That is.
And here's what I told him. I said, well, whoever you're going to get coming to fill in for me, that's not going to be fair to them.
Right.
And
I mean, that's decent too, you know.
and I said, because they're going to have to learn these songs and they're going to have to work hard.
Right.
And it's not right for me to just step back in and they're out on the street.
Right.
And I said, and two, if things go like I wish they'd go,
I'm not coming back.
I'm going to be back.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, that didn't work out. But I did ended up at Peaches in Gaffney.
Yeah, I remember Peaches, yeah.
And me and two other friends, we went in together and purchased that ordeal.
Okay. Oh, Peaches. So y'all bought it, eh?
And while we were there, and of course I was singing in the house band
Right.
there, and that was short-lived. Billy Craddock came in with his bus driver, and he was looking at, we didn't know it at the time, but he was looking for a whole band. He was ready to replace the whole band.
Oh.
And he offered us the job to travel with him, play for him. And the drummer and myself turned it down, and the rest of the band went.
Oh, really?
And I got a call probably a year later from the bass player, which was Tony Cook.
Oh, I was getting ready to ask you, was that Tony Cook?
Yeah, and he had played with us in State Line. So
Yeah.
Tony and I had played together for years. He called and said, "Hey, Dale, Crash wants to know who that guy was that was singing. That he wants to know if you're interested in the job now, singing and opening the show and for him and bringing him on and singing backup for him." And I said, "No, I'm not interested." So I turned it down.
For a second time, that's twice.
And then, probably 2 years later, somewhere in there, I get a phone call from Tony once again. He said, "Hey, Dale." I said, "Yes." He said, "Before you say no, we're going to Australia." I said, "I'll take it."
That's funny now.
I said, "I'll take it." And and it turned out that the first booking that I played, it was a rush booking. Crash asked me, said, "I've already got plane tickets we're going to all meet in," this wasn't for Australia now.
Right.
This was just a in-states booking.
Right.
And it was farther than they were going to ride the bus. But we played in a casino up in Jackpot, Nevada.
That's a pretty long way to go for your first job
We
with him.
flew into Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
He said, "Dale, I'll have to get you a separate plane ticket. And you have a problem with that?" And I said, "Nope. Well, you just get me a ticket."
Yeah.
And he said, we'll rent vans for our equipment and stuff in Salt Lake City, and we'll drive from there on to Jackpot. So that was my first booking, was a week in Jackpot, Nevada with Billy Craddock, 2 shows a day. And I said, "Hey, I didn't even know." I'd rehearsed twice, I think, with them.
Before that happened.
So I told the other backup singer, I said, "Give me a circle with your hand. Don't make it obvious, but I'll be watching you. A circle with your hand, like a zero,
Yeah.
ooze. That's where I'm going to do my ooze.
It's supposed to do your ooze that.
And the one open, like a C,
Yeah.
is going to be the Oz.
Oz. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And I said, "I'm going to make a few mistakes, I'm sure." And I said, "But if I know me, it'll probably be a mistake, but it won't be in the same place."
That's funny. That's
And,
funny.
So Crash picked up on that real quick, and he told me after the first show, he said, "Dale, anytime he said, I see that you're really quick coming back on something." He said, "So I'm going to mess with you."
Oh, Lord.
I thought, "Oh no, what have I got myself into now?" So anyway, that worked out real good, and he was always picking on me on stage. He'd always forget to introduce Dale. He'd say, he called me Goober half the time. He's talking about Goober. And everybody get a kick out of that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I've been with him over 20 years now.
Wow. How was that trip to Australia?
That was a 3-week in 1999. We went for 3 weeks.
Wow.
And I loved it. And I had not realized it, but he had #1 songs over there before he ever
Had something here?
had something here.
Wow.
So when we got there, they had limousines, Rolls Royces. Well, they treated us like we were the stars, the band.
That's great.
And we were there for 3 weeks that time, and then we went back in 2003, I believe it was, for 2 weeks.
And was it still good the second time?
Oh, it was still great.
That's great.
But it was a little more hassle because the first time we got there and they had their local
Right.
stars
Yeah.
and groups to open
Right.
for Crash. And this last time, they had Bobby V
Yeah.
and his group
Right.
and Leslie Gore
Oh yeah.
and
That's
her
good.
group.
Yeah.
So there we were all touring together for 2 weeks, and
No, that's cool.
we went from Sydney, which is on one coast,
Right.
all the way to Perth on the other
On
coast.
the other, yeah.
And it was always everybody seeing where is our band sitting on this bus? Where's our band sitting on
On
this
that
plane?
bus. Oh yeah.
Where's our band sleeping?
Oh yeah.
Where's our rooms at for the night? And it was a hassle
I bet it
for
was.
that end.
Yeah, I
And,
bet it was.
But I loved it. I loved it over there.
That's good. I mean, that's really good. So then I guess for the past 20 years or so, that's been your job for the most part, playing with Crash.
Playing with Crash. Well, I worked at a company that allowed me to take off whenever I
Oh, that's good. I mean, that's good that you could do
That
that.
was right here in Shelby.
That's great that they'd help you like that.
And they told me that the owner of the company at that time, he sold out to a German company.
Right.
And he said, you just let me know when you need to be off, and I got you covered.
That's great. I mean, you don't find that these days. You know,
I have been blessed.
you have been blessed.
I've been blessed.
I would say because I'm sure that beside those times, I mean, during most of that time, were they just weekend jobs, or were they?
No, that we were gone for. A lot of them would be a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday,
Right.
and travel back home on
Sure,
Sunday.
on Sunday, yeah.
But we did have some week bookings.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Wow,
But they didn't care.
that's great. I mean, you are very lucky to have that. That's a blessing, no doubt. You have a favorite place y'all played during that time, other than Australia?
We played a lot of good places. I can't really pinpoint
That's good.
one in particular.
Oh, that's good because that means that you must have enjoyed all of them.
I've enjoyed everywhere we played.
I'm taking it he's a pretty good guy to work for.
Absolutely.
Well, you brought him out and stuff, didn't you? I mean, so you got your. He also gave you exposure during this time too,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
which is not always the case.
And he'd always pick on me too. He said, "Tell you what, when you do a song like that again, and you ain't gonna get to do that again. So you ain't gonna do that to me."
Oh, that's
He'd
funny.
laugh about it. You know?
Right.
But we had some good times on that bus going down the road,
Right.
and which we drove most of the places other than like the Jackpot. We
Right.
flew there, and then I think we flew. We played down in Mississippi a lot.
Right.
New York,
Yeah.
and that was I'll never forget that. We played one of those racetracks.
Right. Yeah.
New York's a casino and a racetrack,
Right.
but it's a horse track.
Horse track. Yeah.
And it was the horses that they had those little
Oh yeah.
you know, and the horses are doing
Yeah.
that fancy
Oh yeah.
running.
Oh yeah.
And I'll never forget. We drove up in that bus, and I don't know, the only thing he had on the bus was BCC for Billy Craddock.
Right.
and that was just on the very front, on the nose. And there were people walking around everywhere. We piled out of that bus. We was about wore out.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I heard one person say, BCC. Wonder who that is. They said, whose bus is this? I said, that's Billy Craddock. They said, oh, is he a stunt driver?
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's a good one there. That's good.
Well, I thought, oh, I ain't about to tell Crash if they think he's a stunt
That would be funny to tell him that. I'm sure you couldn't wait to tell him that.
Oh my goodness,
That's funny.
that was an experience there.
Yeah, it sounds like that was.
But Crash he's a really great entertainer, and of course he's slowed down a lot. He's had COVID. He lost his wife last year. Had COVID last year.
That's bad.
When the COVID hit, matter of fact, we had played here in Shelby.
Yeah, I remember when y'all played here in Shelby.
That's right when COVID hit.
Right, it was, yeah.
And that just sent everything into a
It did.
wild loop.
It did.
Up there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah.
We played more in a few weeks at one time than what we played in a year and a half.
Yeah,
after that.
Sure. I'm sure because, well, I mean, that put so many. It changed a bunch of musicians' lives all the way around.
Absolutely.
There's a boy from here in town, Trey Hill, and Trey Hill basically left Nashville to go to San Diego because his job's dried up, you know, and he could find a little more work there. I mean, it affected everybody in a lot of big ways.
Not just music.
No, not just music. I agree.
Everything.
And you know, I was thinking that during that time, one of the people that you really never thought about losing out, like booking agents. I mean, nothing. I mean,
Right.
You don't have a product to book, so you're not getting any money. You know.
Well, and two, in Crash's situation, you know, his big hits was Knock 3 Times.
Right.
And his big hit was Rub It In, Rub
Right.
It In.
Yep.
And he had a lot of hits here in the United States.
Yeah, he did.
And but then you got these newcomers coming in.
Yeah.
And of course, Crash always he paid the band good,
That's good.
and he charged more than
Sure.
some of the newcomers probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
But he'd worked to develop that. I mean, he'd worked hard to
yes.
get there. So.
I don't know how many trips I've made to Asheboro and Greensboro
Right.
just to practice.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because he's from Greensboro. But I know we did a show. I guess I'd have to say one of my most memorable shows that we ever played was in Pennsylvania, and Crash was the star attraction that night, and the opening 2 acts was Jimmy Fortune
Yeah.
and Jeannie Fricky.
Oh yeah. That's the opening acts.
That was the opening act.
That's cool.
So we did the first sound check. Well, Jimmy Fortune, you know, when he left the Statler
Yeah.
Brothers, he's just a guitar,
Right.
one man
Yeah.
thing. Well, apparently he had asked Crash, could he use the band? Well, we did our sound check, and Crash, he never would. He always had me or the other
Right.
backup singer to check his mics for him and
Right.
everything. And he'd not even come. But when we did our sound check and went over a few songs, Jimmy was the next one to do his sound check.
Right.
So he said, "Oh man," he said, "Do you think Crash would let y'all sing backup with me, the backup singers?" I said, "I hope so."
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
I said, "I hope so." And he said, "Well, find out." And well, he said, "Let's try this on the sound check."
Right.
So he took off on very first song I think he did on sound check was Elizabeth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so myself and the other backup singer came in with our harmonies with
Right.
him, and he just almost stopped.
No, that's
Ran,
great.
looked, grinning from ear to ear, and I had the pleasure of singing backup
With Jimmy.
with him on 2 shows. We did 2 shows that day, a
Right.
matinee and an evening. So
That's cool.
We got to sing backup with Jimmy Fortune,
That's really cool.
and then Jeannie Ricky said, "Hey, you ain't leaving me out."
That's funny.
So, and we did Jimmy Fortune's backup, we did Jeannie Fricky's backup on both shows, and then Crash's both shows.
That's great.
And I said, you know what? I'd be willing to pay him.
Oh, yeah, to do that. Yeah, I mean, that's,
But that was a long day.
yeah, I'm sure it was. That's a lot of singing.
I wouldn't take anything because I could say I sang backup with Jimmy Fortune,
Sure.
and
I
he is.
I mean, that's
He's
the.
a super guy.
You know, there's Darren and Brooke Aldridge from.
Oh, absolutely.
They're from Cherville. Well, they've been working with him for a while too, and
Yes,
you know.
that's a
So,
good couple.
oh yeah, oh,
I love them.
that's some singers there.
Yes.
Brooke is about as good a singer as you can ever find.
Yes.
No offense, Darren. I didn't mean that you were not a good singer, but you know, Brooke is Brooke. You know, it's,
They are good. I would love to get to sing.
it's good to sing with them. Yeah,
sometime.
Well,
and I don't know if that will ever happen.
that
because-
could happen. We might make that happen.
Well, I would love to say that I got to do one song with them anyway.
Yeah, we might
I'd be
get.
happy with just one song.
We
you know?
might can get that to happen. You know.
But I tell you, somebody else that's always back with State Line when we had State Line was WOHS.
Yeah.
Shelby.
Right.
Jeff Champion,
Yeah, I know Jeff.
Calvin Hastings,
Yeah, I know Calvin.
and Andy Foster.
Yeah, Andy. Yeah.
They were always so nice to us.
Did Mackey work down there at some point?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought he
was a
did.
DJ.
Yeah, I thought
and
he did.
that made it really easy for me in State Line coming off the front because, you know, when you got a DJ that's used to
True.
talking,
Yeah.
I knew I had a backup
Right.
anytime I needed a backup.
Right.
Matter of fact, a lot of times it'd be me backing him up,
Right.
you know.
Yeah. I thought he did. I thought I remembered he did that too.
But Calvin asked me about, he said, how long have you been with, this was just last year, matter of fact. He said, how long have you been with Crash? I said, over 20 years. And he said, you've got to do a lot of stuff with your music around here. He said, let's see about getting you nominated for the
Yeah.
Cleveland County
Yeah.
Hall of Music
I
Hall
think
of
that would
Fame.
be a good thing.
So I've been nominated, and I said, you know what? If I never make it, at least I was nominated.
True. That's true.
And so I take little things.
I'll put a word in on for you because
I appreciate it. Hey,
they've come on my show to talk about it a couple times, you know,
Oh,
and I know there's people involved. They're good people. So,
well,
Ronnie, he's one of them too. He's one of the people on that board. So,
oh, is he?
yeah, he is. So,
Well, he's a good one to be
oh
on.
yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Well, he's sure had a lot of musicians come through his band over the years, or he's played in a lot of bands over the years.
Well, and you know, when you got people just like, like Ronnie that's played
Sure.
in so many different bands.
Oh, yeah.
And kept them together and
Yeah,
good bands.
he's had good bands for a long time.
Yes. You know, I played with them.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Legend and the first Crimson. They're
Right.
Crimson Rose now.
right.
But Calvin got that nomination in.
Well, that's good because
Man.
you know they're going to put their stuff in the old.
Yes. Building there.
Yeah, that is. That's a good building. That's a good place for it to be. If they can get some funds raised and stuff. I think they're
right.
working on some of that, and that's probably has stuff at a standstill a bit because they probably still need a good bit more money.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, that's where I'm sure if
you sang down there probably sometime on the radio down there, didn't you?
I'm not sure if it was there or what was the other station?
Yeah, well, it was right over here somewhere.
WADA?
Yeah, WADA.
But then Tommy Fell. He did.
Yeah.
He did at WBT.
He did. Yeah,
He had me come on one
that's cool.
night, and so I mean, you know, it's you know yourself now. You used to be with Johnny Paycheck,
Yeah, yep, I did.
so you know all about
Yeah, I do.
know all about it.
Yeah, I do.
But it's a lot of times it's who you know and
It is. I mean, it does. Yeah.
how you treat the people.
True.
You know.
It is.
That-
It is.
So
It's
we played, but just like in State Line, we've lost
oh
Mackie,
yeah,
we've lost Johnny,
yeah.
we've lost Phil,
Yeah, Phil. I forgot Phil Grigg played in that band too.
and then Ron Humphreys played bass with us. Now he's still, of course, he's
Well,
involved in his politics.
We lost him too as a musician because he don't ever play anymore.
Yeah,
You know.
he's a fine bass player.
Yeah, he is. Oh, I agree. He is a fine bass player. If you hear this, Ron, I've asked him to do it before, and he always says, well, let's get this election over. I mean, in a way, probably because he has a political career, he doesn't want to come on here and talk about music too much.
Yeah.
Even though we got a mayor that came on and talked about it, you know. So I don't know. Hopefully, I can get him on here at some time because he is a fine bass player.
Yeah, Mike Grigg,
Yeah,
Bridges.
yeah,
Michael Bridges.
Yeah, I know.
He played bass with us for a while. We went through some different musicians
Oh, yeah.
from time to time, but the nucleus was me, Johnny Fisher, and Mackie Lennox.
yeah. I remember that.
And I tell you what, you know, I don't know how many close friends like I had there
Right.
that you've lost.
Oh gosh, you know, when it seems like something happens every day here that
Absolutely.
people we've played with. But I still believe this. I don't know that a lot of people agree, but Cleveland County musicians as good as musicians anywhere in the world.
Well, and I mean, not just in the country, but the bluegrass. I mean,
Oh, I
look at
agree.
Max.
Sure. Oh yeah, Max. Yeah.
Yeah.
Acoustic Syndicate boys. You know.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, there's some fine musicians here in town. This town.
I've got two sons
Yeah. Yeah.
that they don't play.
Right.
Very seldom we got together. Now it's that family harmony.
Oh, you can't beat that
Yeah.
blood harmony. You know.
My goodness, it just make the hair on your neck stand up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That, and especially when it's your son.
I guess they have jobs these days, so they can't really play it for a
We
living.
don't get to do it. We sang for a close friend's 80th birthday here. Jimmy
That's
Carroll,
cool.
Here just a few weeks back, and we got together, and that tickled me to death.
Oh, I'm sure. I bet you don't get to sing with them enough,
we
do
don't
you?
get to sing hardly at all.
And that's terrible. You know.
It is.
Did y'all do that when they were growing up?
No. I told them when they were growing up, I said, boys, I love music. I'll always love music, and you're probably going to know exactly what I'm fixing to
I
say.
do.
I said, but I'm not going to push this on you. I said, it's not what people
It's not. I mean,
think silly.
we're sitting here and we're glamorizing it a bit, you know, because we are talking about the good side of it. But you got to go get on that bus.
And hurry up and wait.
Hurry! Oh, that's the worst thing in the world. It still bothers me to do that to this day.
Absolutely.
And it gets a lot of people in trouble. They have that too much time, and you know.
And I told them, I said, if you decide you want to play guitars, drums, whatever, keyboard, whatever, I
Right.
will buy you the very best that
Sure.
I can afford, because you can't learn to play
On junk.
on junk.
Yep, you can't, or you'll quit pretty quickly.
And they played there for a while with Kevin Denton.
Yeah, I know Kevin too.
A
Yeah.
little trio.
Yeah.
They were. And Kevin's doing good right
Yeah,
now.
Kevin is doing good.
That band's doing
I'm sure those harmonies were good. I'm sure they sang good harmonies to him, didn't they?
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, his Dirty Grass Soul's doing pretty good.
Yeah, they are.
But
It's good to see this local talent
Did-
still.
let me ask you this: at some point, you learned to sing harmony somewhere. I mean, harmony singing is a really gift as much as being a lead singer.
Oh yes,
I mean, maybe more of a gift.
I think it is.
You know, I mean, that's some of because a lot of people that are good singers can't sing harmony.
Exactly.
And to me, a real judge of a musician, you know, as a vocalist, is can they sing harmony beside being a good lead singer?
And I'll tell you who really taught me that at a young age. And
I'd like to know that for sure.
he sang Hello, Darling.
Oh, yeah, Conway 20.
Conway 20.
There you go.
That man could sing.
Oh, he could.
He could sing lead. He could sing harmony.
Yep.
And, George Jones could.
Oh, yeah, George could sing.
But Conway was my man.
I hear you. Yeah, well, I think that's just a skill that, you know, I didn't know if you had to sit somewhere and practice that for forever, if it just came natural to you.
Well, I do everything by ear.
Right.
And
You could just hear it, couldn't you?
I've tried singing in the choir, and I told them, please don't run me off, because I'm going to sing what I'm feeling, and it's not going to be those notes that you're
Right.
following, because
Right.
I can't read notes.
Right.
I can see when they tell you to go up and down. And
Right,
up and down,
exactly.
a little bit.
Yeah,
just a
that's
little
kind of like shape note singing a little bit, because you.
My sister, older sister, she is a music major, and you'd think that I'd be able to play a piano or do something, and she's gifted one way and I'm gifted the other. But you know what?
Vocal's a gift.
I like being able to do it by ear,
Yeah.
because it just kind of frees you up. And
Sure it does. It does.
but I helped them at Foster Baptist for their Christmas cantata this year.
Oh,
They
that's
asked me to
cool.
Come and help them. And
So,
we're members over at Shady Grove
right.
in Cherville,
Yeah.
and but I love to.
Or-
I love to sing. My thing right now is I've sung all these years for Dale. I'm singing for the Lord.
I hear you. Well, now, are you getting to do some of that on a pretty regular basis?
I'm doing it just like I would prefer to go solo.
Right.
Just my CD.
Right.
And because, like I said, I don't play it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And on Sunday morning worship service.
That's
and,
good.
And sing a song, because I don't charge anything.
Right. Yeah.
And if they try to pay you or whatever, a lot of times if they got a children's fund,
Sure.
I just give it back to the children or
Yeah.
whatever.
That's cool.
But
Well, I was paying it back, you know, for the gift.
well, if you don't use it, they say you lose it.
Well, and that could be true too. I mean, can we talk about how old you are? Is that a
I
sin?
just turned on Groundhog Day. Everybody remember this. I'm a groundhog. I just turned 71.
Well, that's how old I am too, and you know, you wonder, and that is the thing. At our age, if you don't continue to use it, I think it probably will go away or lessen. You know.
Absolutely.
So I mean, it'll fall off somewhat.
Yeah.
And actually, I look at you and I really see how blessed and lucky we are to still get to make music at this age and still be in relatively good health.
That's right.
You know,
Yep.
I mean, I know so many people, as we were talking, that's either have passed, or people who have just thought I'm at this age, it's time to give up music.
Yeah.
You know, and find musicians and they just stop.
Right.
And I think after a certain age, you're never going to get it back like you had it.
No.
You know.
Well, just when you're used to singing 2 or 3 days a week,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you're not singing.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know. I know that is kind of weird when you do that.
So I've sang at North Side.
Yeah.
I've sang in a lot of the churches around.
That's
on
good.
Sunday morning, and
That's good.
I'll tell them at Shady Grove, I'm down there. I sing there every once in a
Right.
while, a solo,
Yeah.
and I tell them, I say, look, if if I'm not here, chances are I'm at another church singing.
Oh, that's a good thing. You know, that's a really good thing.
So
So can a church reach out to you, and
absolutely.
how they do that, Dale?
Well, if they would just get in touch with you, you have my number.
All right. That's a good idea.
If
that's
you'd be
good.
willing to do that.
Sure, I would, and that way we won't put it out there so you get everybody in the world to call. But yeah, I would be more than willing to do that. That's great.
That's good.
Would you sing with another artist?
Sure.
Okay, that's I mean, not a church artist.
Oh yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's good. That's good to know.
Yeah.
That's really good. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to come and do
Well,
this.
Sure. Thank you for having me.
Well, you know, it's been a long time coming, and I'm glad we did it.
I sure am too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.